everyone. Welcome to Barks to Basics with Jamie Diaz. I have some special guests today. I have my sister, Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
I have my niece, Charlotte.
Hi.
And my niece, Olivia.
Hi.
So why are we here today? Well, I do focus and think of myself as an expert with kids and dogs when it comes to kids and dogs. But I really couldn't do much when my family in New Jersey was deathly afraid of their new puppy, especially my niece, Charlotte. So I think that talking to families, what I've realized is there's a lot of families out there that go through the same thing. They get a dog or they've had dogs before. They think it's the greatest idea and they get the dog and their kids are literally terrified. So I think it's really important to be able to give good tips and kind of hear from a child's point of view too. And also as the mom, as my sister had to deal with for a very long time, of her daughter being afraid. So I'm going to first start with you, Jen. Now you had Cody before.
We
right?
did.
And how old? So Cody passed, unfortunately. And how old, like what made you already had a dog and kids, right? But what made you say, I'm going to get a puppy? How old were your kids? Did you think it was fine in the beginning when you were like a no-brainer, just get another puppy?
I think so. I think they really missed having a dog. We let a lot of time go by, I think, maybe almost a year. And then they started asking for a puppy. So we started researching the best kinds of dogs to get for a family dog. You put a lot of input into that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
English lab, right?
We did. We got an English lab. And then we just put a lot of, research into it. And then finally we made the jump and we did purchase a dog. We went to get the dog and then instantly I thought, oh no, because Charlotte was meeting the dogs and appeared to be a little standoffish. Olivia was great. She was
At the breeder.
At the breeder.
Right? Okay.
Olivia was great.
Do you remember how old they were? So Nala's 5.
I think I was like about 8. I think.
Were you that
I think
old?
you were younger than that. Olivia was 9-ish, 10, and Charlotte was about 7.
Okay, so we're not talking about a
They're not
toddler
babies.
here, right?
No,
we're
they
talking
weren't
about a
babies.
7-year-old, right?
Yes.
So right from the get, you
We
noticed.
met the parents. Charlotte stood behind her father and was a little standoffish. And we said,
My mom's fine.
oh no. So we, on the way home from purchasing the dog, we get the dog in the car. And now, she's holding the dog and we're like, okay, this is okay. First couple nights were all right. We did crate training. Mm-hmm. Everything was going smooth until Nala got a little bit more comfortable in the house.
Comfortable, and especially for labs, every puppy is mouthy. Every puppy goes through teething. So
it was rough.
Teething, jumping. So every puppy is going to rip your clothes. They're going to probably break skin. They're going to seem aggressive when they're actually not. And I remember you calling me. And at some point, and I don't know if mommy and daddy were visiting or if they were there, but you were like, Charlotte is like,
I said, something's bad.
Something is
going
not
wrong.
Right. So Charlotte, what do you remember of
Life.
that time? Yeah.
Well, I started wearing like knee-high boots in the house, so like she couldn't like grab onto my legs or anything or like bite me or anything. But then like I just started like jumping on the counter, asking my dad to bring me to the counter so I like could eat and do all that stuff.
Like carrying you, like literally not.
Yeah,
She didn't walk on the floor for quite a long time.
Yeah.
6 months, I would say.
She slept in those boots.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
So what was it? Was it the biting? Was it the jumping? Was it the movement? Because I have a client and the dog's this big, right? Super tiny little poof ball. And the daughter is deathly afraid of this dog. So I don't even think it has to do with size and everything like that. It's just like the fact. So do you remember, was it the fast movement of her?
It was the biting, because when you're like little and you just think of a puppy, you think of, oh, it's going to bite me, it's going to hurt. You're going to just be really scared about it, and you're not going to like want to go touch the puppy or anything. Like, they look cute, but they like have a devil's eye.
So that's kind of interesting that you said that, because we think as like parents, and I know with my kids, I'm an oversharer. Like I like to tell them like the puppy is going to bite. He's going to mouth, he's going to teeth. And then, but from a child's point of view, when they hear that, it's like, oh my gosh, like now that's all she's thinking is that I don't want to be by this puppy because she's going to jump and bite me. And I literally think, I mean, Jen, how long honestly did she live on the counter?
At least 6 months until we got a firm handle on her training. It was, razor blades, because anytime you would walk on the floor, she thought you were playing. You were a moving object. She was attacking your legs, your ankles, your feet, jumping up on our clothes. We had all holes in our shirts. It was crazy town in our house for a little bit.
Now, what, if you remember, I remember, but what kind of things did you use for management to manage those situations?
Well, she was being crate trained. And then we started using the food puzzles. Mm-hmm. Then we started using the snuffle mat. So we started doing a lot of those things for her. Kongs, frozen Kongs, just things to stimulate her mind elsewhere besides attacking our feet. And then walks, a lot of walks.
Yeah, I mean, you have
playtime outside.
You have a lab, so
she needed energy.
Labs burn that energy. But I think if you just sit and do nothing and think that your dog is just going to miraculously stop. So one of the things that I really try to like get you guys to do, which you did, and she loved it. She still loves her crate, is crate train her so that she had those forced breaks that she can take naps. And then she loved it. And then she needed those activities, those mental stimulations, like you said, the snuffle mat, the licky mat, all of those things. And I like incorporating like the kids into it. I just don't think Charlotte would. I feel like, Liv, you did some training with her.
She did.
Yeah.
Right? She was more, what kind of, do you remember like what kinds of things that you would do with her, or were you scared at her at all when she was jumping and biting?
A little bit, but like you gave me like cues to do.
Well, do you remember?
So I did like touch, sit, down.
Yep.
Then Charlotte would just live on the counter.
And were you on the counter?
No.
Okay, so you just dealt with it. Do you remember, Charlotte, did you ever throw her any food, or like at what point, what interactions did you start having with her?
Well, I remember you bringing me down to like the corner of the table, and you like blocked me, but then like Nala was sitting right in front, and then you like went away, and then she like just like licked me, but she didn't like bite me or anything. She like just like touched me and like kept like figuring out who I was and stuff, because like I wasn't on the floor, like unlike Olivia, like she probably got an idea of who she was, but like I was just on the counter, and then we started.
She didn't really know me because I was on the counter.
I was on the counter for a long time, but
I feel like it was like a year.
Yeah.
I had to prove to her that Nala had some training, that Nala had some skills.
And then I started giving her treats. I still don't trust dogs that are new. Like when we came from the airport and we get in the car, I said, "Does Patty bite?" And because she was like all over me, I didn't know like who she was. Like she didn't know me.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Charlotte, because I noticed that too. So she said, "Oh, you know, does Patty bite?" And again, Patty's like a little fluff ball puppy. So in my head, I'm like, they're going to be fine. I didn't even think twice. But again, you have that like post kind of.
You just have like that. You just have like that instinct that like they're puppies, they're gonna bite you.
Yeah,
but
and you actually should with any dog, which I'm going to get into too. You don't want to assume that. I mean, I see random people picking up these dogs, putting them in their faces. Like you don't want to assume anything. So I love that, even if like dogs that you meet that you're not like that, but. You don't know, and that unfortunately you can't convince your child, anyone who's going through this, and I'm sure you can attest to this, you can't convince them not to be afraid.
No.
Like
They have to experience that.
Yeah.
They have to overcome it themselves.
They have, and I remember saying like, I think Mommy was up there. I'm like, she's still on the counters? I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know if it would like ever.
We have so many photos of her living on the island.
on the counters. It was bad.
I remember
Meals, breakfast. I would take her from her bed and carry
I thought that was
her.
Dad.
Or daddy.
He
and carry her to the
I made
counter.
I would make him carry me on his shoulders so I could not see Nala. Like, she
You
would
really
not
were
touch.
very scared.
But it's like, then we started walking in, like, with our backpacks on from school, like, pretending that we were coming from school, and, like, coming from the door, walking in. Nala was, like, fine, jumping a little bit, but that's what she normally does. Like, it's just, like...
Her initial...
Yeah.
So you remember that, practicing that with the book bags, and... You know, for people that are going through this, I think you need to like take things slow. And I think that was a good point too. Like once you can show her, look, she can sit, she can do stay, she can do like, it's not that they're not going to do these other behaviors. And obviously it comes with age, but I think that you do not need to rush a relationship. Like you don't need to rush a bond with your kids and the dogs because it will come.
And I think training helped. Nala started the puppy classes. It was a full family affair. All of us went.
We started at that like puppy group. I remember that place. It was like orange.
How were you in
inside.
there?
No, had
Ouch.
like
She
I
was in
so
the chair behind
I was
us.
terrified. There was this, and I always think a German Shepherd is gonna bite the most. I saw this mini German Shepherd in there, and I remember its pointy ears. And it's death staring me. And I got so scared. I was terrified. So I still don't trust German Shepherds. I will never.
She's got the bias.
You will never see me take care of a German Shepherd.
And that's okay. So what do you do if your friends have a German Shepherd, or what do you do now if you go to a house, and for both of you? So Liv, let's start with you. You're a little bit older and you also go out a lot. You're very social. What do you do? What do you do when you go to a friend's house that there's a dog there? And also, does the parents ever give you directions about their dog when you go there?
No. So
no directions.
If I go to like one of my friend's house and I open the door and the dog's just like there, I just walk right past the dog until I like really know the dog.
Okay, but they don't say anything.
No.
What about your friends?
They'll just like talk to the dog and like pet the dog.
Okay.
They won't tell me like not to talk to her or give her any treats or anything.
Don't give her eye contact. So that, I think that's super important. And I think parents need to hear this. Like you have a live animal in your house and you have other people's children coming into your house. You need to give some kind of direction, or you need to be able to manage that. So if Nala's a jumper and you have like little kids coming over, well, I know you've done this before, like Nala, or when you used to have company, it was just too much management with the kids, the dogs, everything. So Nala would be in her crate. But you have to
Well, we understand Nala's triggers. So her triggers are a sing-songy voice and so much excitement. And, if you walk in our house and you ignore her and don't talk to her and ignore that bad, maybe if she's jumping behavior and just carry on, she settles. But if you are somebody that might do a sing-songy voice to her, oh, hi, Nalia, all of that, it excites her even more, and then it's chaos in the house. So we now know sometimes when Nala has to.
So do you give
go
directions
to a different
people
location.
coming in?
Yes, but sometimes people
much.
don't listen.
Yeah.
But it's like
Sometimes they don't listen. So if we know that, we do remove her from the situation.
we put her
until
like
people
behind
come
a gate,
we'll
and
gate
then
her.
she'll like get used to it, and then she'll like
And
eventually
then once she's
come
calm
out.
and everybody else is settled in the house, and then we bring her out. But we do give direction. Why don't you talk about the directions we give?
So like you tell people, oh, don't give her like a voice or anything. Don't like touch her. Don't talk to her. But a lot of like the little kids that come into our house, they're just like, it's a dog. Oh my gosh. I want to pet it so bad. It's going to be so cute. And I want to give treats to them. But if you like eventually just start like rewarding your dog way too much, they'll eventually just like, they'll get that feeling that like, oh, if I'm just like laying around the house, she'll give me a treat. And you like just want to make sure you got to test them first, then you can reward them. You don't just like give them a treat for no reason.
I agree with you, but also it is a good association. So if you guys have friends coming over and Nala's out, and you can even say, ask her for a sit and then give her a cookie, because what it does is it provides that positive association for Nala with the other dogs. I get more nervous there are some pet parents that are not very strict with their kids as far as like rules with their own dog. So they'll be like, I go into some houses and like the boys are like wrestling with the dog and they're like hugging them and things that dogs don't like to do. So then what do you think that little boy is going to do at his friend's house with the German Shepherd that's there? You know, they're going to, and if parents are not giving that direction, I mean, I consider it a liability and like, please don't touch him, don't look at him, come in, or like my dogs are away. I mean, I host some big holidays and everyone for years would be like, I thought you had dogs. I'm like, I do. I have 5. They're in my bedroom with the door shut so I think it's important that if other parents are not going to give you guys the directions, you guys have to know. I always say no petting. I don't pet like strange dogs because unless they're asking to be pet. So what does that mean? You know when Nala wants to be pet. She's like rubbing on you, pushing on you. It's very clear, but she might not do that to like your friend coming in, right? She might not want to be pet by she wants to be pet by her owners, but she might not be. So it's good to remember when you go to another house, like you said, Liv, I just walk in, no eye contact, but you've already learned that stuff from like your own dog, you know, like Charlotte, have you gone to a house and what would you do if you go to a house of your friends and there's a dog out, a German Shepherd, and you're scared? Well, what would you do? Mommy's not there, and you go into your friend's house and you realize they have a dog that you're scared of.
Okay, so my friends normally know I'm terrified of ginormous dogs. Like, I can handle an olive, but I can't handle, what's that dog? Like a mastiff? Like, that kind of dog, I cannot. And my friend,
And just for some background, Nala's 85 pounds.
yeah.
She's a big girl. Yeah.
Probably more than that. But
For those of you that see her on TikTok, they say that she needs to lose a couple lbs.
But
she's very muscular.
But my friends know I can't handle big dogs, so they normally guard the dogs so I don't see them. But they'll normally say, oh, they don't bite, but they maybe jump a little bit. But my friend that has like a ginormous dog, that dog was like fine, but I didn't touch the dog at all. I walked right through, like how Liv said. I didn't touch it, didn't do anything. And I always hold my arms in a cross, like, like when you don't want the ball and you go like this. I always do that with a dog because I don't want to touch in my hands.
Good. We call that being a tray, right? You can't, you can see on the video, but if you're listening on the podcast, you just cross your arms, right? And just stand still and don't scream. So what if there is so say it's a new friend that doesn't know, what could you do? So I just want like kids to be able to be comfortable too. If you're uncomfortable with like a dog that you're coming into a house and you like don't want the dog out or something, I think it's important to like either let that parent know that you're uncomfortable or just have a voice and say, I'm really nervous with big dogs, or is there somewhere you can put the dog? Like, I think that's perfectly okay to ask them to, put the dog somewhere.
We would. Charlotte has one friend that doesn't like dogs, so we put the dog away if that's the case.
So you already know that, right? What about you, Liv? Do you have any friends like that? Charlotte has guarders. Her friends guard the dog for her so that she doesn't. Have you come into contact with anybody's house that you went into that had a dog that was not?
So normally when I go to like people's houses, I don't even like look at the dog, and then the dog just like leaves me alone, kind of.
So you haven't had that like issue, right?
Like if you don't give like eye contact to the dog, they'll like leave you alone, but they'll still like sniff you out and do all that. But still with Bentley, still terrified of that sheepdog. I cannot handle that dog.
I understand
because
that.
I have trauma from that dog.
Bentley is a very big dog.
I remember I slept over in Kelly's house, and mom was here. She was like waiting for me outside, and like they didn't want me to leave, so they ran me inside. Bentley, of course, he was like, "Oh no, what's going on?" and jumped on me, scratched me, but
Almost knocked you over.
Yeah, almost knocked me over. He's enormous, but like you can't be too hyper with a dog because then they'll react more and they'll just like they'll be too excited over all that like chaos and they'll be like, I want to join in too.
Yes, and they get excited. And you just made me think of this. I think I probably have caused your fear of dogs.
Trauma.
So, yeah. So I just realized, and this is why it's important about management. So I had 5 dogs at the time. One of my dogs, I still have, he's 15 now, but he did not like children. He was fine with my children. He did not like children. So my family lives from out of state. So when you okay? Okay. Do you need a lozenge? A lozenger?
Can you go outside for a little bit more?
So I knew I had to manage my dog because listen, your dogs do not have to like every child. They have to be good with the people in your home, the people that are coming in your home. They don't need to like every one of Olivia's friends coming in, right? So, my dog Ritz, he's a Maltese mix, did not like other kids. We knew this. We always managed the
He definitely
situation.
didn't like me.
No,
Right.
no, he didn't like me especially.
So there were 2 times when she was pretty little.
I put boots around that house too.
I'm getting ready in my bedroom. My door is shut. Again, she's a child. That is,
I was
I
like
don't know, 4 or
7,
5.
yeah.
You're pretty young, maybe 5.
Yeah.
Comes in my room and startles Ritz. He jumps off the bed and bites her leg. And then another time again, mismanagement on, our part. I tried to always be really careful to have him away and slide her open to let him in. Here comes Charlotte walking in. She screams and my dad picks her up, which is a trigger for him. And the dog jumps up and nips her again. So
Thinking back now, I think that was.
I forgot about, yeah. I
No,
did.
it was also I was comfortable around Oreo, but I wasn't like. But Ritz always used to death stare me, and I would always be like,
Well, he
Yeah,
got
he
bitten
never.
twice,
So you know what? I didn't have kids yet. So, we realized obviously the mismanagement, but we took things really, really slow, especially with my kids. And now actually Ritz is like the best one with the kids. He was the best one with my kids. He gets along with them now. So it's just important to remember too, if you're at home and you're bringing in a dog and you have a toddler or somebody that's a little bit older like that, it's really scary for the dog. Like toddlers move different, they talk different. You probably had a little high pitched voice, and that they're running around. So I just realized that I probably caused your issues with
deep trauma.
her deep trauma. So I think it was important. I wanted to have you guys on because I wanted you guys to actually people to hear about your. I know you don't have like. You never
You don't
As
have
much
trauma as much as me.
Yeah, I mean, you never know like what you're going to get. So sometimes, again, you have this great idea to bring in a dog, which is great. I always used to say forever that people with had kids, I'm like, yeah, I don't think you should get a dog. I don't think you. And my husband would say, do you want anybody to get a dog? Because you're always telling people not to get a dog because I know like the work it takes. I know how much work
I think that's
you had to do.
I think that's an important part. It does take work. And it took a lot of work. It took a lot of time to get her off of the counter and be comfortable and acclimated. However, 5 years fast forward, Charlotte's the closest with the dog.
Now I'm like, now she lays on my bed.
She loves her the most, and Charlotte loves her the most. It is a very close bond that they have now, but it's definitely one that takes time, and you can't rush it.
Yeah, I think that's super important that we don't rush it. And if anything you're going to take away from this, I would say create rules for your kids, create rules for kids coming into the home. And if you get a new dog and your child is like deathly afraid of it, take your time. Take the little wins, like having them throw some food or doing the touch cue from the counter or different things like that so that they get comfortable. And it is a process. I'm telling you, I think it was like a year that she was on the counter.
And now I like teach all the tricks, and now I'm like fine with all of
with Nala, but that doesn't mean you're fine with
Other dogs, no.
Yeah.
Especially not German Shepherds.
Yeah, and sorry for all the German Shepherd people out there. We love German Shepherds, just not when
me.
Charlotte's around.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys would want to add, or any tips that you can give someone out there, or like a little girl or boy that's like your age or a little bit younger that is really afraid of their own dogs?
I would say don't go on the counter for 6 months, and you just have to you gotta tell your parents that like if you don't want a dog, like it's just you have to be careful of what your surroundings
More of
are.
like a pros and cons list.
Yeah, but you just want to be careful, because I still get scared when Nala gets the zoomies, but I still sometimes go on the counter.
Okay,
but
it's good to know.
But it's because it's just scary, because you don't know when a dog's gonna attack you or not, because they always have the devil side and they always have the angel side, and you don't know when they're gonna attack you.
Hopefully they don't.
Hopefully they don't. But I will say, just so everyone knows, every dog can bite. And the dogs that bite kids, the highest percentage is the family dogs that have been in the home for years and years and years. So they're getting older, and all of a sudden you have a toddler running around or something that leans on their hip and they're in pain, and so any dog can bite. I don't want you to feel super afraid of dogs, but I also love that you're cautious and that your friends know that, listen, I don't want to be around your big dog. And that's okay. You don't need to be friends with everybody's dog. You have your own family dog that you trust, except for when she has the zoomies, and that you love. And that's the point of having a dog. The point of having a dog is not so that all of your friends can have that bond. It's really just to keep everybody safe, coming in, and then also making sure you're taking your time getting used to your dog in the house. Liv, what tip can you give, do you think? For
you kind of
anyone?
just have to think of when you get a dog, it's almost like joining a team. So
I love that.
You don't trust everyone at first, and you're quiet, but then it's you get to know everyone and spend more time with them, then you get closer to them and you trust them more.
I love that analogy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
just
have
like you
to
in softball.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna have to steal that. That is totally true. I love that. So yeah, you're on a new team. You don't know, that's your dog. And at the same time, your kids might be saying, I want a dog. I want a dog. And they don't understand. They are going to bite. They are going to pull your clothes. You're not going to get away from that. That's part of puppyhood. So I love that analogy. That was so good.
Nala still takes flip-flops, but she doesn't rip them apart.
All right, well, we're going to talk about that, because your aunt's a trainer, and if your dog's still...
At least we know why she's doing it.
Anything you would add about the process of what you had to go through with Charlotte?
Consistency, I think, is huge. Training, know what you're doing, don't go in blind, and don't think your dog is just going to be good. They're not. It takes time.
Yeah.
And be patient.
And reach out for help if you need help from a professional force-free trainer.
Well, how many times do we FaceTime to learn different things?
And you did learn.
We
I
did.
remember Nala was running for that touch cue from through the bushes.
She did. She did great.
8
with
weeks old.
all of that stuff.
Yeah,
right away.
mom still uses the touch cue.
My mom needs training too. Well, thank you guys for coming. I'm glad I was lucky enough for them to be on a visit today. So thank you so much. So Barks to Basic with Jamie Diaz, you can watch the video on YouTube, but you can also anywhere podcasts you listen to. So Apple Music, Audible, Spotify, iHeartRadio has an app with podcasts too. So again, thank you again. We will see you next time.
Yay.
Bye.